Speaking of Hummer. Sorry, I went backwards.
Speaking of Hummers, the new Hummer GMC, so General Motors and GMC is a brand owned by them, bought back the Hummer brand a few years ago, and it is now an electric truck thing. And they unveiled it. They're taking reservations. Apparently, they sold out of the first edition. And I don't know. Do you want to talk about specs? If you go to reserve now, I did a whole video on it.
Why are they in space?
I really like the look of it. I think it's cool. I think the price and the specs are terrible, and they should just bail on the whole project. Like, the whole thing should.
I can't believe you think that.
Well, to me, they're anti-selling an EV here. They're doing the opposite of trying to.
I don't get what you're talking
accelerate
about.
That.
This is cheaper and as fast as and better range than a freaking Porsche Taycan.
And Hummers have always
very
been
different vehicles.
But you're saying that it's underselling an EV. This is a freaking super truck that has over 350-mile range. Fantastic. 1,000 horsepower, 0 to 60 under 3 seconds, competing right with anything else. A Hummer is always going to be one of the most expensive, like high-end, big show-offity vehicle. That 350-mile range is probably further than the normal gasoline one. Or diesel one even. Like, I don't know how this is underselling. True. I don't get why you're disappointed in this thing. I think it's fantastic.
Well, because there's already a competitor in this space that it's just an absolute, like, night and day difference. The Cybertruck is going to destroy this thing in every single way possible, other than it's not named Hummer. That's the only thing it has going for it, is that you have all the guys that woke up from a coma from the 90s with their bleach-tipped hair and puka shell necklaces looking to go to the club. That's what you get here. You know, you get the Hummer guys. It's just so dumb. The whole thing is a joke. It just should be canceled, really.
Did you say that they sold out of their reservations or their first?
They sold many tens of reservations and sold out, yes. I don't know how many that actually
But for real,
sold.
though, I mean, how many do you think that actually was?
1,000, maybe?
Really?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think the whole, like, I'm really, like, what the world needs, okay, I'm all for competition and compelling products. To me, other than the oddity that is it's a Hummer, this is a completely lackluster product. And the reason I say that is because of the Cybertruck. I mean, you look at the Cybertruck, the most expensive one with over 500 miles, that's faster than this, that can do all the things that this can except take the roof off or whatever, is cheaper, 10 grand cheaper than the cheapest one they're doing, which won't be out for 4 years.
Right.
I'm looking at it like,
but that's not GM's fault. GM is making a compelling vehicle. It's just that Tesla's absolutely killing everyone else. Like, that's not GM's fault.
Well, that's my point. You know what? And I say the same thing about Mercedes when they came out with their EQ and it had, like, I don't know, 180 miles of range. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, you guys sat in a meeting and were like, yeah, that sounds good. You really sat there and were like, cool. No, that's terrible. You know,
but this is
the Rivian looks to me is still my winner in this category,
but
it's a different class, I would say.
You ordered it's a different class, but Cybertruck.
Well, it's not meant to be absurd and obnoxious. You know,
but the Hummer was always supposed to be absurd and obnoxious.
No, that's why I'm saying it's a
brand.
separate class. That's why I'm saying the Hummer and the Rivian are in different worlds. Like, the Rivian wants to actually appeal to people. The Hummer just wants to appeal to people that want Hummers.
Well, but that's an audience, and so I mean that's
Fair
my
enough.
big question is, like, who exactly is this for? Is it just for the people who wanted Hummers before? Why would they care so much about wanting an electric version of a Hummer versus what they
I think
before?
that's it. They probably don't care that it's electric, except what it can do because it's electric, right? 0 to 60 and those kind of things.
Ben, how much is the top of the line R1T Rivian?
We don't know. It starts at 69,000. We don't know the actual top of the line price. I'm guessing 89,000.
89, maybe 100,000.
I doubt it. I doubt they would go 100,000.
You don't think if they double the battery pack from 105 almost to 180, you don't think that'll add
what do you mean 105 to 180?
105 kilowatt hours to 180 kilowatt hours. You'd think
for
that
what?
would
The
for
Rivian?
R1T, yeah.
Do we know that those are the specs?
That's what people are I mean, 105 is the standard, and people are pretty much speculating. I think 180, isn't it?
I haven't seen anything.
Well, anyway, I think you're being a poo-poo about it, and I think
I definitely am. I think GM made a huge mistake.
No,
Guys, let's keep this civil, okay?
I just don't think it's a mistake.
But
I think
hey,
this is a step
the
in the
fact
right
that
direction.
If
This is
it
gonna
opens
make-
up more people's eyes to electric cars, then great. I don't know what this thing will even be. I was surprised by the Moonlander reference, which I guess I learned they had something to do with. I'm not quite sure what, but
GM, GM was or was it Chevy or GM? But yeah, they designed and built the lunar rover for Apollo 15, 16, and 17.
So they were the first ones to have an electric vehicle in space.
True.
Gotcha.
They did make an electric vehicle once before.
Yeah. But real quick, back to the point of like, what's this for? This makes, how much was a normal Hummer like this? The big baddest Hummer you could buy when it was gasoline.
Yeah, it was expensive.
100, right?
I don't remember, but
this will just spank the pants off of it in every regard. This will put a smackdown.
I actually really like the product. I hate the price. And I hate
Hummer,
the 4-year timeline. Like 4 years from now, you have you have one of these coming out for $90,000 that gets 250 miles of range. That is a joke. That is just not real. You know what I mean? They're never going to make that.
You hate the Hummer. I don't care that it will underperform because that's still going to be for what a Hummer is and what a Hummer's purpose is. It's not a cross-country road tripping car. It gets 350 kilowatt charging, so it could be. I don't know. I just don't think it's I don't think it's a step in the wrong direction. I think it's a step in the right direction. Joe, what about you?
Enough.
I've been yelling at Ben for his opinion too long. Joe, what's your opinion on Ben's opinion? Or on that?
That's what we've come down to here.
No, I am always in favor of a new EV and bringing new audiences to the joy of electric driving. I will tell you that there's a friend of mine who can't stand Tesla. He's just one of those guys, but he posted on Facebook that he was interested in this, or he said he really loved this. So, if that's what it takes. There's a few things that I'm curious about what's going to happen in the next 5 years. I mean, 2024, is that when this is supposed to come out?
2021 for this one, fall of 2021, they say.
Okay.
But 2024 is the base model.
Yeah, that's way too long. That's too long. Yeah.
It's not going to happen. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
they're going to be like, oh, we couldn't sell enough of them. Let's just cancel the whole program.
I am super curious about what Cybertruck is going to do in terms of how it changes people's perceptions of what a truck can be, what is a truck, Yeah. It's just such a polarizing design. There's some people that they'll probably see it now and just like I wouldn't be caught dead driving something like that. But I really wonder once they get on the road, I'm with you, but I really wonder like once they get on the road and people start seeing them everywhere, I just wonder if public perception. I mean, that happens. Like really crazy stuff.
I mean, the Hummer itself was ridiculous. You're like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And then eventually it was like, oh, it's one of those.
Yeah. So I wonder how much public perception is going to change once the Cybertruck comes out, how much that kind of moves the needle for what a truck has to be able to do. But also, I read somewhere about some of the, nobody's ever done a truck of this size that's like the exoskeleton stainless steel thing. There's probably a lot of roadblocks that we're not quite aware of when it comes to actually creating the Cybertruck in mass. Mm-hmm. So I have my reservations about how soon that's going to come out. So it's all about like, how soon is the Cybertruck going to come out? How much is the public perception on that kind of thing going to shift so that when something like this comes out, everybody's either going to be like, oh, this is great because it's still kind of a new thing, or dude, all that's already covered in the Cybertruck, and everybody kind of has shifted to this crazy moonscape kind of
right
machine.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
there's a lot of question marks. I don't know, so we'll see.
Well, you brought up a feeling because we're coming up on a year ago almost when 11 months ago or so when Cybertruck came out, and we were all together, and I remember that was one of the most divisive, divided opinion things in the world. That started. That's the reason 2020 became so polarized, is because Cybertruck came out.
That's
It
why.
all started there.
It was
Nothing
like,
else
that
was
was
going on that could have done anything.
The spectrum was just pure. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen. I want it now, and this is the worst thing that's ever been created. Please just destroy it. You know, those were the two opinions.
Melt it down and let's start over.
And start over. Yeah.
I really look. I'm sorry, and I forget the name of the gentleman who works at Tesla that got me into that event. I'm really appreciative, but I've forgotten your name. I'm so sorry if you're listening. But
Albert,
he was standing
maybe?
right next. What's that?
Albert?
Maybe.
I forget. Yeah.
I'm terrible with. I forget my wife's name. But he was standing right next to me, and the thing came out, and I remember being like, "Is that Ed?"
Is that really?
I was waiting for the facade to fall off and the real thing to be revealed or something. Like I was waiting for a nice little trolling gag or something, and then it was just kind of like oh.
People are getting out of it.
Yeah.
That's not just a cover.
The wind kind of got sucked out of the air kind of got sucked out of the room, if you remember. It was very much like it came out, everyone was like, like what was it? It wasn't like a, oh my God, yeah. It was more of a confused.
Well, the air definitely got sucked out of the room once the glass broke.
That
literally was the most awkward thing I think I've ever, like, I've never experienced a thing like that where you're like, everyone's just like, what now?
Yeah.
What are we supposed to leave?
Yeah.
Maybe he'll break another window. But no, I remember being in a car. I think both of you guys were in there, but there were other people too. And we were like, everyone in the car was like, what was that?
Yeah.
Like, this is the nuttiest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
But we're kind of used to it now. So I'm really thinking, like, once it gets on the road and the general public gets used to it.
The look definitely has grown on me, but I still think it's not something I would feel comfortable owning or driving.
Yeah.
It is, from the first day of seeing it to now, has changed completely. You know, there's still angles I hate, straight from the side. Ugh. But like seeing it from the front or the back, like kind of at that, like, quarter panel look, I love it. It's totally grown on me, and it's really cool. But straight on from the side just still looks too much like
there was
polygonal,
that one where they cut the top off just a little bit.
Yeah.
Remember, it was like they added one more bend or whatever.
Yeah.
That to me, it was like, oh, perfect. Now it looks. I like that.
They made it a little bit more sleek, I think, since that original one.
And Elon said recently, I think on the earnings call, that they were making updates and improvements to it. But I think ultimately that's why I think the Hummer is just a flop or just like destined to fail, is because if you have the Cybertruck, okay, if there's Hummer sitting there and a Cybertruck pulls up next to it, which one is going to be more eye-catching? Which one is going to be more like, holy crap, look at that thing? I have to imagine that's a Cybertruck. Like, objectively, it looks so strange and bizarre.
Yeah.
Even if you love it, you have to admit that it looks crazy.
Oh, of course.
Right?
It does not look like it belongs on the road. Like, it looks like it's in a video game.
A Hummer being there is just going to be like, oh yeah, that's another one of those things, right? It looks like, yeah, like it looks a little different, but it basically looks like a Hummer, like it always has. So I guess to me, that's where I'm looking at it going, if you want that shock and awe, then the Cybertruck is your winner. And by the way, it is so much cheaper, like so much cheaper and better.
Well, like, yeah, so someone in our Discord who said that, they go, Mystic Wolf says half a Cybertruck at twice the cost.
Yeah, there you go. 100%. That to me is why I look at it as a big swing and a miss. Now, they've sold out however many they have. We don't know, but the Ford electric F-150 also comes to mind here, with the obvious difference that the Ford electric F-150 is like more of a mainstream kind of truck. And the beauty of this whole thing is, with Ford, they don't have to sell a single Tesla fan their truck. They have so many, such huge, long heritage. Even Chevy wouldn't have to. If Chevy came out with an electric Silverado, then they wouldn't have to sell a single electric car fan at all, and still they could have a huge success on their hands. With Hummer, I guess that's the question. That's what it boils down to. How many people out there really love and miss their Hummer from the 90s or whenever it was, early 2000s, that want one now? And this is like their they've been waiting for this.
Oh,
That's the question, because they don't. It's not like Chevy or Ford that have this long heritage and giant built-in audience.
Loyal audience that will just buy the next one. Period.
Yeah.
It's
Like
part
I
of
don't
their
know.
identity.
Right? Do they? Maybe they do. Maybe I'm wrong. But
they probably do.
that's
But
the
it's not
question.
a huge. It's not a huge. 10 million people thing. It's like it might be like a 5,000 loyal Hummer enthusiasts that are like, I can't wait. But I think you're right. The shock and awe value is kind of gone. Like Tesla did the shock and awe. This is extremely conservative as far as appearance goes. Pretty ho-hum these days. Yeah, it's big and it's fast. But it's definitely not, if you're looking to have peacock feathers or whatever, I think it's not quite the one anymore. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like if you saw this Hummer EV next to, a Nissan Sentra,
I wonder
would
how
stand
many
out a bit.
I wonder how many people though are going to see it and not know it's electric and not think it's anything different than a Hummer from
But isn't that
whatever,
or just a new Hummer period? I mean, isn't that kind of a good thing though? Isn't that kind of what we
a good
want?
thing. Yeah.
in general, I think that is. But again, it just maybe it's my perception of Hummer. The idea has always been, let me stand out, and this doesn't stand out to me.
Well, it will once it absolutely destroys like a Nissan GTR even at a stoplight, that'll turn some heads and stand out,
Could you imagine this thing on a drag strip? That's going to be the funniest looking thing ever. It's like a freaking monster truck. You got like next to a Bigfoot or something.
0 to 60 in 3 seconds is no joke for a vehicle this size. Like 3 seconds is insanely fast. But nowadays with EVs, it's becoming almost this like, if it doesn't reach 3 seconds anymore, we're almost just like, oh, that's not that quick.
Yeah, I
so
think
many
that
of them are.
What is the Mustang Mach-E? I feel like that was something like 4 point something seconds, and it's like, that's incredibly quick for a Mustang, but not really competitive in the EV space.
It's like a basic, like the slowest Tesla you can buy, basically.
Yeah, it's like standard range, cheapest model you can get.
Yeah,
got it. And this is your fast Mustang. You're like, that's why when those guys kept saying that at the event, it's got to go like hell, or whatever their phrase was for the Mustang. I'm like, guys, I agree with you, but that ain't it.
Yeah.
That ain't it.
Sure, it's fast compared to your gas cars, but this is slow in our world, my friends.
Yeah.
Wait, didn't they have a Mustang EV that like broke some record or did really well on a track somewhere or something?
There's different things they've done that are like prototype cars.
Right.
There's one, the Shelby Cobra Jet 1400 blah 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 something or other EV. There's like 15 names of it, which is like a drag racing car. And that thing, I don't know, is stupid. It's amazing. It's just a feat of engineering though. It's Ford Racing Division.
Not a production vehicle.
No, it's not even close. So, and then they did have an electric actual Mustang that someone else made at SEMA that was going to be like 900 horsepower beast, but again that was like a SEMA car, that wasn't a real car. I still think we're going to see an actual Ford Mustang, like the two-door coupe style, not the
I hope so.
Not the family wagon that we've got now, but yeah.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this clip from our show. If that's just not enough for you and you want to watch the full episode, you can go to olfpod.com/YT.
And if you want more from us, you can consider becoming a Patreon member. You'll get early access to episodes. You can join our awesome community. You can actually watch us record live and get your name in the credits by going to olfpod.com/Patreon.
So thanks everyone for watching. Check back every Friday for new clips here and new episodes on the main channel.
Thanks everybody.